here at the shop, I'm actually here at Bud Built Design Shop. I shared a space with him with my plasma cutter. If you guys can see here, we actually been down for a little bit. We had some issues with the machine and issues with the actual coolant that we use. So we finally got the machine back up and running. We finally got our skid plates producing back at producing them again. I got my one, got two, got my third one over there. Making two more today. My buddy Ben right now is making the actual brackets right here. These are the actual brackets that we use to reinforce and install the actual skid plate to your to the Mark IV. So hey, what's going on, McDubbin? Hey, I got your plate here too. I got your skid plate. Hey, how's it going, Austin? So I'm actually going to show you guys what I do. And this is what I do on my spare time when I'm not at work. So what's up, Wayne? So we're going to show you guys the software here. So we use something called Mach 3 CNC. It's really cool software that runs pretty much our plasma table here. This is our box right here that runs the stepper motors and actually controls the entire system here. It's kind of like a 3D printer almost. You guys can see this is how it cuts our steel plates. So we're gonna zero everything back out. We're gonna go back to zero, and we're gonna cut some skid plates. So we have our file loaded up here. And then we're gonna, you see here, this is where our starting point is, and we're gonna start cutting here, and then it'll cut everything on the inside first, and then it'll cut the outside of our steel plate here. And it'll go all the way down, level itself, and start cutting. It's pretty cool. Oh, and like a dum-dum, I forgot something. Ay, ay, ay. Forgot my grounding point. See, I get distracted when I'm going live here. So we use this to ground our plasma cutter. You guys can see that guy. Now, we're grounded now, this thing will cut. So, gotta reset everything. We're back at zero. All right, now it's gonna cut. There we go. What's going on, banging? So you guys can see, right now what it's cutting are the steering rack holes. This is where your steering rack mounts. Yeah, sorry, man. The quality's not the best here. The Wi-Fi is not very good in this area. And you'll see here, this is what we use for mounting the skid plate on the back of the car. This where we cut right here is the steering rack mounts. This is for accommodate the dog bone here, so it doesn't make the skid plate bow in any way. Keeps it flat. Right over here, we're cutting the holes for the future brackets that we're making for your skid plates. MK6 will be later. What's going on, Tiny? Lost connection. Oh, there we go. What's going on, man? So, now the back bracket right here, you guys can see, that's actually the mounting point for the actual brace that we have here. Uh, this right here, this is actually really cool. This brace is supported around your radiator. So this is actually reinforcing your radiator, but it doesn't bolt onto the radiator. It bolts onto your actual main rail, or your crash rail is what we call it. So this is extremely strong. We use angle iron to cut this, to reinforce, to mount your skid plate. And then we have all new hardware. The only one thing you have to actually drill will be this hole right here. There's this one hole you got to drill out. So you got to take your front bumper off and drill that one hole out, and then you're ready for this to be installed. You'll see here the plate's coming right now. Cooler, yes, there will be MK3 ones coming very soon. Okay, so now it's finally quiet. You guys can see the skid plate now is fully cut out, and you guys can see what's it called? These are the holes again for what we use to mount the actual skid plate to the steering rack. You guys see these holes right here? These are for the future side covers that we're going to be designing. So we're giving you already holes ready for that. Right here, these holes are actually what we use to mount the skid plate to the front of your car using our custom design brace that we make here at the shop. So everybody who got their pre-orders in, we're making those today. These are going to be shipped out by next week is my goal. So every skid plate is made by hand. We don't do anything here pretty much like shipped out or outsourced. I make everything here at the shop. As you can see, here's one, we got two, our third one over there, and number 4 right over there. Now these skid plates cost $100 to start for your deposit, and then they're $200 in total plus the cost of shipping. We provide you all the hardware necessary, all the brackets and everything you need to get these installed on your Mark IV. We use 16 gauge steel, reinforced plate, so this is extremely strong. This stuff will take an immense beating, all right guys, and I'm talking about this will take more beating than anything else you'll have on your car. And we use steel mainly because it bends, it doesn't break. What people don't know, you can go aluminum and then you can go high grade aluminum, but then instead of becoming a $200 skid plate, it's like a $400 or $500 skid plate. It's not a cost effective. And if aluminum hit right, it cracks, it doesn't bend. So that's why we went with steel, because it's more forgiving, especially when you're riding on the road. Especially if you have really rough roads, this will save pretty much your oil pan and your and everything else you have in your car underneath that car. We were considering adding an access hole for doing oil changes, but unfortunately, if we did that, it drops the strength of the pan of the skid plate, so it wouldn't be worth it for us. Because people, you don't understand, the more holes you add to it, the skid plate becomes weaker and not as strong, and it won't do its job. Another risk that you fall with a big hole somewhere around here is if it gets caught on something, you're going to ruin the underneath your car. I do not want to risk that on anybody or wish that on anyone to begin with, because you don't want that to happen. I'd rather have this skid and go under. Again, when you guys have to do an oil change, unfortunately, it's going to be a process. You're going to have a bunch of bolts to remove, so that's going to suck. But at the end of the day, if you ride super low, I mean, this is the way you're going to save yourself from an oil pan versus anything else. So we wanted to give you guys a live process here, how we do things here at PincheAls Garage and our new skid plates that we're making. Yeah, we're super behind, but there was a lot of reasons for it. COVID is number one, the primary reason holding us back on supplies. Number two, We had an issue with our height adjuster on our plasma cutter, so that was another big issue with our with the situation we were having. Um, the machine wasn't leveling correctly and cutting nicely, but now we're finally squared up. We got new coolant in here, so everything is coming up very, very nice, and it's cutting beautifully. You guys can see these cuts are gorgeous. Very, very clean cuts with our plasma cutter. Um, so I'm very happy that the quality here will be very, very consistent with everybody's skid plate that they get. So again, thank you, thank you so much. Sorry I haven't been on YouTube for a minute. Work has been also very busy for me at my job, and my hours have been horrible. So I get home and it's way too late to start any live streams. But I'm going back at it because my hours are going back to my normal hours. So I'm coming back and doing a lot more YouTube and streaming and helping everybody out and doing some live Q&As. All right. I just want to show you guys what we were doing today. So you guys have a good one, and peace out. And as always, here at PincheAls Garage, we're going to break, we're going to fix, and we're going to repeat. Peace out, everyone.